everyone, and welcome to the keynote session for Stonebranch UserVerse Online. My name is Lauren Tansini, and I'm thrilled to be your host for today's event. We are so excited to have you here, where we explore the latest trends in IT automation and orchestration, deep dive into the product roadmap for Stonebranch Universal Automation Center, and share what's next with the future of automation. To kick things off, please join me in welcoming Scott Davis, Stonebranch Chief Marketing Officer, and Peter Balliet, Chief Technology Officer, as they share their perspectives on market, industry shifts, and exciting Stonebranch updates.
Thank you, Lauren, and hello to everybody. It's great to be back at another UserVerse, and it's even better to see all of you back here as well. If you're keeping count, you'll know this is our 6th year running this virtual event series. Each year, we tend to change it up a bit. I mean, we got to keep it interesting, right? This year is no different. Today, we're going to dive right in with a conversation between Peter and myself. We're going to be discussing all of the industry information we have, as well as Stonebranch updates, news about recent product enhancements, and even a view into our product roadmap. However, it wouldn't be a UserVerse if we didn't show some awesome demos. And today, we're going to share a whole bunch of demo about AI-centric use cases. Plus, we're going to show enhancements to how we work with containers, which is materially improved year over year. And we're also going to share some new updates about our Universal Portal, which was released back in April, but we got some cool stuff going on there, don't we? So, Peter, let's go ahead and kick things off with a discussion about Stonebranch as a company, and then the industry at large, and kind of what's changing and what we see from a vendor perspective. From a Stonebranch standpoint, I'd like to talk about UserVerse, our in-person World Tour series. Now, we moved it from this time period off to April, May. And we did that so that more people could participate. The third quarter, fourth quarter was bad for our install base this year. But also, we did it because we have some pretty cool stuff coming out in the April timeframe. Can you tell everybody a little bit about that?
Yeah, the 7.9 release is coming out in a month. But the next release, which we're targeting a lot of great functionality, one of the key things is our new AI platform. And we're going to call it 8.0. And that is going to be released in April. And this will help with us demonstrating in person at these events all the capabilities that we're building in, which we'll see some of a little bit today.
Yeah, we'll get those previews today, and then people will be able to get together in person in April, May, and actually get the training on them as they come out. So it's a good setup. What's worth noting for our audience is that we're going to have this World Series in the Netherlands, Germany, and the USA. So you can pick your city and you'll get the same training and demos and everything else when you get there.
Yeah, and it's also, these events are also great for customers to give us feedback too. So we'd also like to encourage customers to attend these events, not just to see the new product features, but also to collaborate with us on new features, functionality, and what they'd like to see.
Yeah, most of what we build is built in conjunction with our customers from the demand within our install base.
Yeah, exactly.
I think another thing worth noting about UserVerse in person is just meeting other customers, right?
Yeah.
We see so much benefit that our customers get from working with each other and learning. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today in the form of use cases. I'll talk about that in just a moment. So Peter, as it relates to UserVerse Online, which this is the kickoff of, it's happening over the next 2 weeks, and we're going to have 3 more sessions, all tying back to things and elements that we talk about today. So you're going to get a preview today, and then everybody will be able to deep dive into these topics within those sessions, right? Okay, great. So let's move on to the next topic, and this is a big one. Gartner recently released its 2nd annual Magic Quadrant for Service Orchestration and Automation Platforms, or SOAPs for short. Now, this is the 2nd year, but we did pretty good year over year. Can you tell us a little bit about what we did better, where we landed this year, and why?
Yeah, it's always a little nerve-wracking when you're waiting for this to come out, because you always want to see how you did compared to the year before. And this year we made a great improvement. We're basically moved up and to the right, which is always what you want to see.
Yep.
We're grouped with, looks like one of the top 3 vendors in the Magic Quadrant for soap products. And I think it's exciting because all the hard work we put into our products, it's being recognized by Gartner, based on all the feedback that they've gotten, as well as the information that they have.
Yeah. I mean, if you had to summarize it, we believe that we are a leader, but we're also recognized in the top corner because we have a great technology, and we have for a long time. We have a great roadmap, which we believe Gartner really appreciates, and where we're heading and how we're going to be helping the industry at large. And we also believe that our growth over the last 5 years has led to this growth in the Magic Quadrants. We've grown in revenue, we've grown in adding new customers, customer size, the global scale of our customers has just been amazing, right?
Yeah, and I think I'll just add it's also looking forward. It's also not just the proof is always our customers using your software, and our growth has supported that. But it's also looking forward all the things that we're planning to do with the products, because things are changing ever more rapidly. We all see AI and trying to figure out where it's going to have impact to our products and enterprise systems. And I think our go forward roadmap and our vision about how we're going to incorporate that really is recognized as well.
So Peter, we fared well overall
You're right.
in the SOAP Magic Quadrant, but if you look at the detail within it, it gets even better. Can you tell everybody a little bit about how we fared?
Yeah, they kind of group SOAP into 5 major categories, and they kind of rate all the vendors on that. And each of these categories, as you can see here, we're in the excellent range, which I think is really good, because we really do strive to have a lot of functionality in all of these different areas so that customers can really use our tool to kind of do a lot of different use cases. And I think this is a validation of that.
Yeah, it's a well-rounded platform, right?
Exactly.
The use cases he's talking about, you can see them on the slide here. It's citizen automation, which is kind of self-service automation. It's data orchestration. We talk about it as data pipeline orchestration in our sort of marketing materials. IT workflow orchestration, right? Our ability to connect different applications across a full workflow, right? And then DevOps automation, which we help with tremendously in terms of being able to run DevOps life cycles and everything else. And then finally, traditional workload automation, which is our core, we've done for years. So no surprise that we're in an excellent category across the board here. And we're thrilled to be validated, as you said.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we're going to be sharing more today than Gartner even knows about, right? We're going to be sharing things that were not represented in the report that are coming out in April that are really exciting for our install base. Now, we have some more big news, and this news is kind of hot off the press, right? So this just happened. We've just acquired Hanako. And so Hanako, for those that don't know, is a company that does what Stonebranch does, but very specifically for SAP. Now, we've worked with SAP customers for a long time. What's the benefit to Hanako's customers? What's the benefit to our customers? And why did we do this in the first place? What's the reasoning?
Yeah, Hanako, like us, has really been around for over 20 years. They've done automation during that time frame. They've been very focused on the SAP ecosystem. So they really integrate very deeply into SAP. They run on the SAP technology stack. And we also have a very significant SAP customer base. And we're always trying to do more with SAP. So their domain expertise and their experience in that area, we see can really help benefit us with our product integration with SAP. At the same time, Hanako is looking to kind of do more in the hybrid IT landscape, really to help expand out into that area. And that's where we can help them with their product. That's what's made us very successful over the past couple of years, is really been able to rapidly adopt new technologies that you can include in your automation and orchestration. And that complementary nature between their domain expertise in SAP and then our broad breadth across the IT landscape, we think will help both products and both customers.
Yeah. Well, I know everybody's thrilled about it, both install bases. We have a lot of work to do to bring it all together, but it's going to be great in the end, right?
Yeah.
Great. So let's change topics again. We've been evolving to support our customers from a sustainability and a compliance standpoint. And we've done a lot of work over the last 12 months specifically. Can you share some of those things that we've done to help both customers in the EU and maybe even in the US?
Yeah, UAC typically is a critical piece of software that companies run in their IT operations. It's used in financial institutions, utility companies, supply chain companies, and the recognition of all the cybersecurity risks that are out there in the world. The systems need to be available. So there's all these regulations that we're seeing in different parts of the world. So we're working specifically in the EU. They have the DORA and the NIS2 acts, which really help to make sure companies are making sure their systems are resilient and secure. So we've done a lot internally, but we're also working with companies to make sure that we're compliant as they run us in their production environments. A lot of it is supported by what we've done for a number of years, which is our SOC 2 and our ISO 27001 compliance programs. Those support a lot of the requirements, so we're very strong in those, and we kind of continually focus on meeting any new requirements that come up.
All right, that makes sense. Now, we've done some other things too, right?
Yeah.
Specifically product-related things with Graviton and data archiving. Can you share a little bit about those?
Yeah, the data archiving is just, a lot of customers, what we were seeing, had to retain data, right? And they were using other solutions to do so, and maybe kind of kludge something together. We wanted to offer that as part of the product to eliminate that cost and make it very easy to not just archive data, but also to report on it also. There's a lot of regulations, especially in the financial industry, about retaining data for a certain amount of time. So that's really helping out our customers. And then, just from a global standpoint, carbon footprint, we've done some things there. Internally as a company, we've looked at our carbon footprint. We used a company out of France, Greenly, to help us look at and measure what it is and improve it. So we were able to get a silver classification from them.
Which is year over year up from bronze last year.
Right. So we've made improvements there, and we're going to continue to focus on it.
Yep.
Also, the compute platforms are getting more and more low power, and we're seeing this with ARM specific compute platforms. So we're looking at certifying our products on these platforms so that customers can run it at a more cost effective as well as low power, lowering their carbon footprint. And it also helps us in our SaaS operations too. So customers who use us for our SaaS offering, we can offer that too as well.
So this is another green initiative
That is
part of it? Okay.
I would say it's a green initiative, but it's also a cost initiative, because not only is it taking low power, when you do low power, it doesn't cost as much.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, made a lot of progress year over year. Good job with your team.
Thank you.
I want to change topics again. Now we're going to go over to talk a little bit about the industry, right? We're going to deep dive on what's kind of happening, what we're seeing from a vendor standpoint. And we have a unique view into this. We can see what people are asking for. We can see where we want to head.
Yeah.
And it's sort of coalescing all that into one sort of output that winds up being our product.
You're right.
Now, each year we do a research report that we call the Global State of IT Automation. And that report is created by working or doing a survey through a research firm, a third-party research firm that surveys 400 practitioners of workload or SOAP automation each year, right? And that's a global audience. So it's people from Europe, US, Latin America, Asia Pac, just every place, right? And we get results back. And typically we push that out into a report, which we released earlier this year. But there's some data we want to share here with that audience. Can you talk to everybody here about some of the key findings within that report?
Yeah, we see the top things still being cloud and cloud infrastructure, right? Those platforms really led the way.
This is what people want to automate, right? This is what are they automating today with SOAP or workload automation solutions?
Right. And those are automation first environments. And I think they really took that approach and have informed a lot of the application vendors and SaaS vendors on being an API based. Everybody has standardized on this REST protocol, which is making it immensely easier to integrate applications. And so what we're seeing is people using automation tools like UAC to not just do infrastructure back-end jobs, but also to integrate applications. And that was something that we saw in the surveys, is really now that's kind of bleeding over into the application space, where everybody's trying to automate across the applications, just like they do in cloud and cloud services.
Makes sense. Now, what's interesting about this particular chart that we're looking at is that, yes, cloud applications and cloud infrastructure at the top, and it's been like that
Mhm.
for the past 4 years, right? But new to this is CRM and HRM.
Mhm.
So that's interesting. That's really interesting because typically when the industry thinks of workload automation, sort of the old category, they're thinking of automating back-end IT ops infrastructure or uh, applications. But CRM, HRM, ERP,
Mhm.
these are all front end. These are front office applications. And if you look here, they wind up third and fourth on the list of things that people want to automate. What do you think's driving that?
Again, I think it's a lot of the standardization around everybody's integrating the same way now. There's nothing proprietary that you're trying to do from just trying to connect and then understand how you need to call an API. And the same tools that are doing that in the cloud, you can use those same tools for doing application integrations because it is integrating the same way. And so I think that's turning on a lot of light bulbs to people about using the tools that they have today, like UAC, and being able to integrate into their application layer.
Okay, so people have connected these dots with
Yeah.
multiple applications. What's one of the benefits of just standardizing on a SOAP versus having 5 different automation tools that do it?
Well, one of the use cases we're seeing is that most data analytics are being done in the cloud now, right? You can easily store data there. They have a number of analytical tools that you can use, and you really just are paying for what you use. You don't have to make a big capital investment up front. A lot of that data comes from the applications, right? So a lot of the things that we've been doing for a long time, now we're pulling data from applications through all these APIs, kind of moving it to the cloud, and then even moving it back again,
Mhm.
right? So SOAP tools are really good at that, and that data layer is something that I think is you're seeing is kind of being standardized because of the API.
Good. So one thing to note here for everybody is that this for us is a very interesting topic. One of the sessions that we're going to run as part of UserVerse Online is in a couple days, and it is about different use cases that you can use Universal Automation Center for that you didn't think about or know about. So what we've done is we've sat down with customers, with all of our sales engineers. We've done a lot of research internally to figure out how people are using Universal Automation Center. And there's all the standard use cases that you would expect. There's sort of traditional workload automation, data pipeline orchestration, uh, cloud automation, so on and so forth. But then there's a bunch of things that customers have been clever doing, and it's connecting to these business applications.
Mhm.
It's doing different things that probably not everybody's doing. So the goal of the session is to cross-pollinate those ideas. It's to
Right.
get everybody seeing the vision for how they could be using it, maybe things they haven't thought of before. So I'm excited about this one. It ties into specifically this vision in this slide. And what I think you'll see us doing in the coming year, 6 months, is building out more and more integrations that actually connect to these applications more directly versus using just API calls or whatever, right? So anyway, very good topic. There'll be a session on it. We're excited about it. And I think now it's time to transition once again. I'm going to pass it over to Lauren, who's going to introduce Peter and the product update. We'll give him just a few minutes to move over and get positioned. All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Scott and Peter. It's great to hear your perspective on SOAP, hybrid IT, industry trends, market evolution, and of course, the exciting updates for Stonebranch. Now, let's shift gears and take a closer look at what's new in UAC 7.9. Joining us are Peter Balayet, along with Hussein Golameskazolu, lead solution engineer, and live from Frankfurt, Nils Boer, vice president of solution management, who will walk through the latest features and showcase live demos.
Thanks, Lauren. Universal Automation Center encompasses all the core capabilities needed for enterprise orchestration. Transferring data is essential in today's hybrid IT landscape. Whether it's for workloads, application integration, or data pipelines, we have Universal Agents, Universal Data Mover, and Universal Data Mover Gateway for on-premise business to business, and cloud services. Orchestration is the core of the platform. The Universal Controller is the engine and platform for bringing everything together. And with the Universal Portal, we're able to extend complex automation use cases to citizen automators throughout your organization. Our agent technology and integration architecture connects to a wide range of infrastructure, applications, and cloud services, allowing UAC to quickly adapt to your changing IT landscape. And now we're adding AI throughout all aspects of building and executing automation, and we're excited to show you some of these capabilities today. First, I'd like to highlight recent product releases with UAC, UDMG, and Universal Portal, as well as recent integrations. We have Hussein and Nils also to give us a sneak peek at some of these features. We'll then dive deeper during our UserVerse Online sessions later this month. We're happy to announce the release of Stonebranch Universal Automation Center 7.9. The Universal Reporting Server is one of the major items coming in 7.9. Many of our largest customers require the ability to retain execution data and be able to report on it for a specified period of time. The reporting server adds this capability so you can easily meet your compliance requirements without adding any outside data retention solutions. The OMS is a key messaging layer between our central controller and distributed agents. We have added an additional high availability configuration for the OMS that eliminates the overhead of the existing shared database. Customers can keep their existing configuration or choose to adopt this new high availability method. We've expanded the capability to configure complex approvals as part of an automation workflow. This capability is key as more customers are automating business processes, requiring involvement from citizen automators. And we've incorporated this feature into our Universal Portal that Hussein will demonstrate. AWS Gravitron support, I mentioned earlier, is part of our continuing focus on reducing the cost to run UAC and help ourselves and our customers meet their carbon footprint reduction goals. Many companies are moving towards a container-first approach in deploying applications. There are many on-premise and cloud services, such as OpenShift, AKS, EKS, and GKE for the cloud. However, each of these have their own unique characteristics, so we've been working to make sure that UAC is certified to run on all of these platforms for customers who choose them. And now I'd like to turn it over to Hussein, who's going to demonstrate for us more about our Universal Portal and some of the enhancements that have come with that. To help tee up Hussein's demo, let's jump to a quick 1-minute video about the Universal Portal and how it helps citizen automators.
Automation should be easy and accessible for everyone. With Stonebranch Universal Portal, it is. This modern self-service platform simplifies automation for non-technical users. No IT expertise required. From a single intuitive dashboard, you can access and manage automated workflows without navigating complex IT tools. Everything you need is just a few clicks away. Whether you're in the office or on the go, you can take action anytime, anywhere, on desktop, tablet, or mobile. Stay in control with real-time status updates. Quickly see what's running, what's completed, and what requires action. Launch, pause, or restart automated workflows in seconds. Easily manage upcoming tasks to keep operations running smoothly. Launch tasks. And enable or disable triggers with a single click. No complex tools, just secure, self-service automation designed for everyone. Stonebranch Universal Portal. Automation for all.
Hi, Peter. So this is the new portal. So we added some more languages to the Universal Portal now. Now we add 5 more languages. So now the customers can choose what language they like, and it's immediate. Like if you select something Italian, everything will be in Italian.
Yeah, it seems like we're getting a request every day for new language as customers push this out to their different locations.
Yes. It will make it easy, I think, for them. So the other implementation is the approval process. So now with 7.9, we will have an approval task. And with this interface with the Universal Portal, we can approve them or reject them. So here, for example, I have one approval definition here. And one good thing is with the approval is you can define a schema for the approval. So you can say that, for example, this task is if any of us, like you or me, approve this task, this process will start.
I think
So-
I know when we were working on this, we talked to customers and they were saying that it could be a lot of different combinations of people who do the approvals, and maybe just one person. It could be many people. It could be groups of people.
Also groups.
And so all of this logic helps people configure to that level of
Yes.
of complexity.
Yes, and also you can do with the other task. I will show it. This one is simple. Like if one of us approve it, it will continue. I will approve it here. So once I approve, this task is completed. You see it become blue, and it sees that this condition succeeded. So now I have another approval task. So there was 2 approvals. So this one is a little complex. This one, it will be approved by you and one of these people. It can be me or my other account, or it can be the group of one of the admins. And I can do this from that UI, or I can use my phone to do that, because of the benefit of this interface is for that also. So I have
This is your phone on your computer.
yes, this is the emulator. So I have the interface here, so I can, if I want to do it from my phone, so I can just see the task. I can just click on approve. So this allows you to do the approvals on the way also.
I think that's great because I know a lot of automation runs off business hours. So this could be where somebody is not at work, but yet they still have the ability to easily approve workflows to continue.
Yes, exactly.
That's great.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Great. Thanks. I appreciate it. Finally, we're always listening to our customers. And in every release, we always put dozens of new enhancements that are requested by them. So you'll see those and more information about those in the online UserVerse event. But 7.9 is available now. It's a great release, and please feel free to go and download it. Moving on to UDMG, Universal Data Mover Gateway. We've had several releases this year. That's why you see us calling it 3.x. So these features really encompass a couple of releases that we've had. We're quickly innovating with UDMG to meet our customers' demand for modernizing B2B data transfers. With customers taking a cloud-first approach to moving, storing, and analyzing data, we're bridging the traditional EDI data transfer methods with modern cloud storage. We have introduced the concept of a transfer pipeline. This is the ability that supports configuring data transfers, the source and destination, with a diverse set of technologies and protocols. Think of traditional methods like FTP, HTTP, AS2, and more modern technologies such as cloud storage, cloud databases, and even data lakes. Many of our UDMG customers have stringent security requirements, so we've added several key features in this area. An advanced secure proxy server that not only authenticates connections at the edge, but also supports a sophisticated session break connection method, which prevents direct connection into your internal networks. In-flight virus scanning, so files can be scanned before even being received, and secure credential management to safeguard your secrets. And also LDAP and SSO authentication methods to integrate with your enterprise IAM systems. Active-active high availability is also now available, allowing for horizontal scalability. And we've added a multi-tenancy architecture, allowing for cost-effective deployment of non-production environments on the same infrastructure, as well as large UDMG deployments across business or organizational units. So with that, I'd like to throw it back to Lauren, and she's going to introduce Nils to talk about integrations.
As I'm sure everyone knows, you really can't orchestrate without integration. So a big part of product enhancement is the release of new integrations each year. Up next, Nils Brewer will walk us through a sampling of our new integrations released over the past 12 months. Plus, he's going to do a demo of our latest integration that customers are really excited about. Nils, go ahead and take it away.
Well, we've got Nils joining us from Frankfurt, Germany. Hey, Nils.
Hi, Peter.
He's going to talk us through some of the new integrations that have come out recently. And I'm going to let him go through, and then we're going to see a quick demo that he's going to show us. Nils, why don't you take it away?
Very good. Let me talk you through some of the new integration we've added to the Universal Automation Center. This year, we focused on 4 main areas: containers, SAP BTP Cloud, data pipelines, and self-service. Starting with self-service for business users, we've built a certified ServiceNow application for UAC. For example, a business user can now create and schedule multiple step SAP tasks directly from ServiceNow without any involvement of the scheduling team.
And Nils, this the ServiceNow integration is not on the integration hub. So how do customers get it?
It's actually a certified integration by ServiceNow, so you can download it directly from your ServiceNow system from the ServiceNow store. So anyone who has ServiceNow can download it for free and directly schedule tasks on our Universal Controller.
Great.
Okay, let me talk a bit about what we have done with SAP. So for SAP BTP Cloud, USC can schedule applications running on Cloud Foundry or SAP Schema. You can even schedule SAP BTP templates like S/4HANA templates or IBP templates. Many of our SAP customers are already using these integrations today. Among these customers are some of SAP's largest installations. Also, we've added a brand new integration for Oracle Fusion Cloud. With our Oracle ESS integration, you can schedule any process in Oracle Fusion, and it comes pre-configured with 65 Fusion ERP and HCM processes right out of the box.
Hey, Nils, that's great to see. I know SAP and Oracle Fusion were some of the leading ERP vendors. And I think this is a little bit of what we talked about, how we see customers really using UAC to automate more business processes.
Yeah, and what's really new is also that we pre-configure these processes. I think that's one of the new things we are doing.
Right.
Let me talk a bit also about the data pipeline. In the data pipeline space, we now support Boomi, and we have added a DBT Cloud in addition to the already existing on-prem DBT integration. We also enhanced our intercloud data transfer integration based on customer requests. It now includes over 20 flexible rules for automatically renaming files after transfer, similar to what we support with our UDM transfer. On the observability side, we are excited to announce that USC is now a Dynatrace partner, one of the leaders in observability. A Dynatrace extension with a ready-to-use dashboard for USC will be available soon. Finally, let's talk about containers. Many customers are now moving critical applications from virtual machines to enterprise Kubernetes platform for scalability and cloud readiness. USC supports this by scheduling Kubernetes jobs and managing file transfer directly to Kubernetes. We have even customers that transfer data from the mainframe into the pods. We offer dedicated integration for each major Kubernetes platform, including their native authentication methods. For example, on Google GKE, we support service authentication with impersonation. And with our new integration for OpenShift job templates, customers can keep their existing deployment pipelines while USC handles the scheduling, including support for template with parameters.
And Nils, we've talked earlier about certifying UAC to run on all of these different container environments, but they all have little differences, right? Is that your experience? And maybe you can highlight some of the things that you see.
Yeah, so below, of course, they have always native Kubernetes, but to authenticate with the different platforms and also the deployment pipelines, these are different. These make difference between the different platforms. And there are even sometimes additional features for Kubernetes, like in OpenShift, you support so-called templates instead of just running the jobs or the cron jobs.
Great.
One other interesting thing is that UAC itself can now also run inside Kubernetes, making it fully container native. This is something I would like to show you in a short demo where I'm going to deploy UAC on OpenShift in under 2 minutes, including a high available containerized database using persistent volume claims for data storage. So a real production environment. To deploy the Universal Controller, all we need is a single Helm command. If you need additional agents, you can also automatically deploy them via Helm.
And Nils,
let me give you this.
Maybe you could tell us what a Helm command is.
Okay, the Helm command is actually to deploy the different containers that you need. So in this case, the pods in Kubernetes, and parameterize those containers. For example, define the services, define the credentials, which are called secrets, and the different other parameters that you need to run our Universal Controller. Okay, let me show you the whole stuff in reality. So then I think you get a nice glance of it. What you see here is my OpenShift user interface, so the OpenShift GUI. So you see there's just one little pod running, which is an agent which I deployed some time ago. Now I want to deploy in this namespace PM1, I want to deploy a whole universal controller, including the database. So what I need to do, I need to run, in this case, my Helm command. And in this values YAML file, there are all these parameters set, like the services, the routes, the different containers which I'm going to start, and so on. So let me now install this universal controller, including database, in my namespace PM1. You see immediately that the containers are created after I ran the command. So we have, in this case, 3 pods created. One is the pod for the universal controller. One is a pod for our middleware agent called the OMS. And one is the MySQL database, which is connected to a persistent storage. And you see everything is already running. So maybe let's have a look at the log file from the universal controller. So you see the log file looks exactly as the Opswise log file or UAC log file. The only difference is that it's completely streamed. So we are not creating a physical file. We are just streaming everything out. That's a prerequisite to certify a container in OpenShift, which we are, so that everything is streamed out. And you see the server has already been started. So server startup takes still some milliseconds, then the server is up. So let me try to connect already to the universal controller. So to connect, I go to the route, because you need a route to connect from external, in this case my web browser, to the pod. And here is my route. So I need to type the UC command here. And as you can see, the universal controller has already been deployed. So now it's a new installation. So I have to set up the initial password. So need to set up a start password.
So Nils, that's pretty amazing. You've got, typically UAC is pretty easy to install. It probably takes, maybe an hour or 2 at most. But what we've seen is we've taken it from that amount of time down to really less than a minute.
Exactly. I think we were already considered in the market as the fastest to install controller, enterprise controller. But now with this concept of containers, it goes even faster. So the only thing what's still missing is I need to deploy the OMS server so that I can connect external agents to it. So I go to my OMS servers, and the OMS server address is in this case a service because it also runs in a pod. I could also have it externally, the OMS, but in this case I run it also as a pod. So I need the address of my OMS service. And I just copy it in here. Save it. Yeah, so now it takes around 30 seconds until the agent and the OMS agent has registered to the controller, and we are ready to schedule jobs.
So Nils, while that's waiting to connect, what are some of the benefits about deploying the whole product in a container environment?
Yeah, one thing is, first of all, of course, for developers. So each developer can basically set up their own controller in minutes. And the other thing is, and that we see also already on some customers, that they have a lot of individual teams, and each team wants to schedule their own jobs. Of course, they can still interact with each other using our bundle and promote functionality or jobs as code via a GitHub repository. But that's really was not possible before, that each team can basically have their own controller, and they can start it in minutes. Let me see if now it's now connected. Yes, it's connected. So now if I go to my overview screen, I see there is an agent, and I can finally start now also a task. Let's create a very simple Linux task. So I call this Linux hello task. I choose the agent, which is just connected. So that's the agent. It runs on this pod, this Linux task, and the command I say is hello Ruby. So I already say hello to the Ruby, which we saw in the next sessions. So let me launch this. And as you can see, I've deployed an entire controller and even run a job.
Right. So we've installed the whole product, run it, and even deployed OMS and agent and run a Linux command, all under 5 minutes.
One thing I would also like to add is, because as I said, each team maybe can have their own, or each department can have now their own controller. So you still might want to have someone that can overlook all the environments. So for this, we have very powerful observability functionality. And with this observability functionality, you can set up a dashboard, for example, in Grafana or Dynatrace, and have a central view on all the different controllers. We use OpenTelemetry, and we have recently updated also to the latest OpenTelemetry library so that now the Dynatrace 1 agent for collecting traces, metrics, and logs is fully supported.
Yeah, so even though you may have a large number of UAC deployments out there, you can aggregate them up through the open telemetry into some of these dashboarding tools like Grafana or Dynatrace.
Exactly. And the nice thing is, because we support also TLS SNI, so that means you can connect external agents to the controller, but you can also interact between the different controllers. So even if you have 100 controllers, those can talk to each other, and you can promote deployments between each other or workflow
Great.
definitions.
That's awesome to see, Nils. Nice work.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, thanks, Nils. And with that, we'll pass it back to Lauren.
Thank you, Peter, Hussein, and Nils. Up next, we'll turn our attention to AI and how it's reshaping the way hybrid IT operates today. To share his perspective, I'll hand it back to Peter for his thoughts on AI's impact and opportunities.
I'm excited to talk to you today about Roby AI. Roby AI is Stonebranch's initiative to incorporate AI functionality in all of our products. First, let's look back at a brief history. In the 2000s, IT relied on rule-based automation. If a CPU exceeded 80%, send an alert. Very rigid and very predictable. Then came machine learning. Systems could analyze years of performance data, predict failures, detect anomalies that rules would miss. But machine learning needed large, clean data sets and could only recognize what had been trained on. Now we're in the era of intelligent agents. These can understand natural language, adapt, explain their reasoning, and learn from the interactions. The big shift is ML agents were pattern recognition. Today's AI agents are reasoning and generating new content. Where are we today? There's a lot of hype around the capabilities around generative AI agents. It's important to understand current state and what lies ahead in the evolution of AI. We began with chatbots, basic question and answer that were siloed and acted alone. Today, these are more advanced. Present mainstream usage of chatbots includes AI assistants. These are smarter because they have memory and chain of thought reasoning, which support structured decision making. We're also seeing AI agents handling repetitive tasks with humans in the loops to verify actions. Current innovations are happening around advanced AI agents, which execute tasks without supervision, automate workflows, and plan across multiple step workflows. Looking farther into the future, expert agents will emerge that are specialized, highly adaptable, and the ability to collaborate across systems with other agents. Looking even further, we have agent collaboration at scale, unsupervised, cross-functional ecosystems where digital and physical systems work together, learning, adapting, and driving enterprise-wide benefits. However, it's hard to predict when these benefits will be realized. Looking at lessons from the past informs us about how technology evolves, gets adopted, and drives new innovations. Think back to PDAs in the 1990s, Palm Pilot, Apple Newton. The ideas and vision were there, but the supporting tech wasn't ready. It wasn't until advances in batteries, processors, internet connectivity, and capacitive touch all came together that the smartphone exploded into existence. And then came applications we could not predict, like social media, changing communication and having major impacts on our daily lives. The same applies to AI. We see a lot of ideas and vision, but the real breakthroughs depend on the technologies maturing in ways we can't predict. And like smartphones spawning social media, AI will lead to new use cases we can't imagine yet. So how does this evolution translate to our orchestration and automation products? We're building our platform to meet you at every step of this journey. Today, that means intelligent chatbots for instant user support and taking actions within our product, coding assistants that help your teams build integrations faster with fewer errors. But we're also preparing for the autonomous future. We're restructuring our documentation to be consumable into large language models and include context fields with tasks and workflows, enabling retrieval augmented generation RAG capabilities that let AI agents combine prompts with this knowledge to help and take actions. We're architecting our AI platform to support agentic behavior as well, where AI agents take on actions on behalf of users within defined boundaries and operate with increasing autonomy as the technology progresses. We're also supporting the Model Context Protocol for seamless agent collaboration, both within our products and with external AI clients, such as ChatGPT and other AI applications. But most importantly, we're taking a platform approach to incorporating AI capability. The ability to swap between different LLMs, whether they're online cloud models or on-premise offline deployments, generic models for broad tasks or domain-specific models for very specialized requirements. And as new models and technologies emerge, your platform adapts without architectural changes. This brings us to the strategic imperative for our products and AI platform. Our platform architecture needs to be ready for agents we haven't invented yet, modular design so you can plug in new capabilities without rebuilding, and a scalable infrastructure that can handle increasing complex interactions. We think of AI capabilities and agents as we do our extensions and integrations. They can be released and downloaded as they become available, or you can build and deploy your own. And a flexible governance framework so your security and compliance systems control agent behavior and autonomy. Success isn't about predicting exactly what AI features are in the next release or what AI agents will do in 2030. Success is about building a platform today that can evolve with capabilities we haven't yet imagined. This is a journey of continuous adaptation, not a destination we're going to reach in a single release, software release or two. And with that, I'd like to invite Nils and Hussein to show a couple of demos of upcoming AI features. So we're going to ask Nils to come on back.
Hi, Peter.
Hey, Nils, welcome back. Why don't you, Nils is going to show us a little bit of what we've been doing with our chat Roby AI. And then also, he's going to demonstrate some of the work we've been doing with the MCP standard. Nils, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you.
Very good, Peter. Let me show you some of the new AI demos which we created. First of all, in this demo, I'd like to show you two AI use cases, each designed for a very different type of user. The first one is for an SAP business user who wants to create a multi-step workflow with 3 SAP tasks and an email at the end. Instead of building it manually, the user can just ask our chatbot Roby to generate the workflow automatically. The second use case is for a DevOps engineer. Here you will see how Claude AI work together with a Stonebranch MCP connector, and you can check task instances, agent status, create and launch tasks, and more. The MCP connector enables this by leveraging our OpenAPI definition. So with these two scenarios, you will see how AI can support both users, business user and technical users alike. Let's start with a Roby AI demo. What you see here is our Roby AI screen. And as I said, I'm now the SAP guy who wants to create a workflow. So first of all, maybe I say create a workflow. Workflow. Now, the Roby AI already suggests me common creation of workflows. So in many cases, people create workflows with 5 tasks, 7 tasks, and so on. In this case, I want to create one with 4 tasks, so I cannot just click the button here. So I need to enter it. So I want one with 4 tasks, and name SAP bonus workflow. Okay, now it already created a screen for me because it knows I want to create something with 4 tasks. So in this case, I want to create a workflow with SAP bonus jobs. So I filter first of all the tasks I want to list here. So it connects now to the controller and lists me only the tasks which start with SAP bonus. So I use the first step of my workflow, the SAP bonus model number 1. Then I use the SAP bonus model number 2, and finally 3. And at the end, I want to send an email approval in this workflow. The workflow also should have a variable, so I call this customer group, because the bonus models are calculated different per customer group. So this is a customer group business, for example. So in this case, it would create the workflow with the 4 tasks, or in this case, 3 SAP tasks and the email approval tasks in the controller. So to create it, I just press here create in controller. I could also just save it as a JSON file and, for example, upload it to GitHub, and then someone else can use this JSON file to create the task. In this case, I want to directly create it. So I press the create in controller button. And as you can see, it takes seconds or milliseconds until the workflow is generated. And you see it already creates me a link that it created these workflow SAP bonus workflows created. So now I can just click here in my Ruby on the link, and it will dynamically open the workflow in the Universal Controller. If I'm already logged into the Universal Controller, I don't need to log in again. This is why I'm directly, it shows me the screen with the workflow. And as you can see, it created this for the 3 steps, one after the other, with an email approval at the end. And I can also launch this workflow that you see that even works. So if I go to my activity screen, then you can see the workflow is here and it's even running.
Nils, I think this is also a great example of how less technical users, what we call citizen automators, can really start to define automation workflows without having to come into the main user interface.
Exactly. That is really the reason for it. Because you have these SAP users, this is why I selected this example. They don't want to log into any controller or something. They just want to run their linear workflow, which is, for example, a multi-step job, like you've seen here in this example. But I have also the other type of users, and these are the citizen automators. These are the DevOps users. And for those ones, I'm using actually a demo with Claude. Let me switch to the Claude demo.
So Nils, this next demo is leveraging the MCP standard to talk into UAC.
Exactly. So what we have done, we have configured an MCP connector that allows to interact with the UAC REST API based on the Open API definition, which is provided by our controller. So the DevOps engineer can make use of the MCP server while in Claude AI. Maybe I quickly show you the definitions of our MCP server. So if you click here, then we have the connector, and you see we have already the Stonebranch connector. So that's our MCP server. And here you see all the different actions that were automatically generated using our Open API standard. So you see you can launch a task, you can generate a workflow. So nothing is manually, it's all automatically generated. And I just want to show you some of these actions, how they really look like. So for example, I can do something like this.
And maybe while you're doing that, Nils, the MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. And it really is something that really started just only 9 months ago. So it's a very new standard, and it shows you how quickly new technology comes up in the AI space. But it helps AI clients like ChatGPT, like Claude AI, to really inspect a system and understand what actions it can take on it. So we've leveraged that standard to really help connect these clients up to UAC.
Yeah, the nice thing is this MCP server gives really a standard way to connect to our API. So it's always uses the same format, how it connects, and you can see it works perfect. So I'm asking the system, so Claude, I'm asking that it shows me the details of the finance data task, and then you can see also which action it uses. So that's the list tasks action which it uses. And then it gives you the entire task overview. So it gives you what the task is doing. So in this case, it's a file transfer task. And the nice thing is it gives you even at the end a report what the task actually, what the idea of this task is. No? So it seems this task appears to be copying files matching the pattern report. So this is information which you don't see in our task directly. It was derived, in this case, from Claude. So let me check if I want to run this file transfer task. It's actually an AWS transfer task. So from one bucket to another bucket. Let's see if the agent is, for example, active. Is the agent active? So then you will see it uses now a new tool, which says derived, to check if, and you see it's get universal agent, so that the next tool it uses from the MCP server. And it says, agent is active and is available to run tasks. So now let's say launch the task.
And Nils, I think what's really interesting is that it's the Claude and the LLM that are figuring out what tools to go execute. It wasn't something that we hard coded, and that's part of the benefit of using the MCP server. It has a lot of context about what tools do.
Exactly. In the first, I would say, Ruby AI, what we developed a year ago, we not manually, but we basically set up each of these tools by ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, it's completely done automatically. We just provided our Open API spec, and then it gives you the tool. In this case, it uses the launch task tool. And you see it has launched the task and very nicely described what this task is doing. That it copies from the report star from one bucket to another bucket. So everything is there. And we can even get the standard out. For example, get the task output, std out. Maybe only std out we want to list.
Which there's a tool that enables you to get standard out.
Yeah, you see it now. It says this one is called fetch task output. And this
But
tool
what's
now selects
also
standard
interesting,
output.
though, is that it actually knew that you were talking about the task that you had just executed. You didn't have to specify the specific task.
Yeah, that's somehow nice that these AI tools, that's the same basically if we would do it in ChatGPT, it keeps the history.
Yeah.
Of course, we can we can remove it. And at the moment, I'm connecting to the online version, but we also tried it out with the local version, and this also works fine. So we don't need to query the internet to do these things. I think that's an important thing when it comes to security. And you see it gives you the standard out of the task, plus it gives you a nice explanation what has been happening.
Great.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to show you. So you have the end user or the business user that can use very easily like the chatbot or RobiBot, or you can have let's say more advanced, more technical advanced users like this. They can use it for Claude. You can of course also integrate it in Claude Code. No, I'm just using here a standard Claude chatbot.
Thanks, Nils. Those were two great demos. And we're going to go over to Hussein, but I appreciate you being with us today.
Very good. Greetings from Frankfurt again.
Bye, Nils. So the one thing to note about what he just showed is we're not just putting AI in the product, we're actually enabling external AI clients to interact with UAC. There will be a whole security and governance model behind that. So really you have fine-grained control over what external AI clients are able to do. Well, what I'd like to now is go over to Hussein, and Hussein's got something exciting to show. We've been showing how we're embedding AI in the product. What Hussein's going to show are two things. One is how to use AI and specifically LLMs within an automation workflow. And that's something exciting because it's actually something that you can use and we see as being a part of automation going forward. And then he's also going to show us a coding assistant about how you can leverage a coding assistant AI tool to build extensions in UAC. Hussein, I'll pass it over to you.
Hey, thank you. So I will start with the basic one. So the basic one is like I have a task that fails, and when the task fails, and I want to use LLM to get the information about the failed task, and then give us some suggestions and also give the information. This is simple. This is everyone can do such thing with LLM. But the problem here is like whenever I say this to a customer, they say that what about our data? So what will happen to data? Like if there's a sensitive information inside the data, will you give it to the AI also? So that's the main purpose of this demo. So I have a task here, like this is a critical task, I call it. It will fail because of an invalid command here. And whenever it fails, it will launch a workflow. So this is the workflow it launch. So the first thing in the workflow is a task that collects the data. So it gets the failed task information, the execution data. It gets the definition of the task. It also gets all the executions of the same task in the last 2 hours, and also gets the notes, gets the output of the task and everything. So, and we will use this data. So the first task is this collecting the data. But before I send it to AI, I want to be sure there's no sensitive information. So for that purpose, I'm running a task called like a PII detection. So for that one, I also use such thing. Like for example, there are some models in Hugging Face, for example, and only specific on that purpose, like to eliminate like a personal data.
Yeah.
Like for example, this one is trying to catch all of these information, and also it replaced them with like a mock-up data.
And I think that's kind of what we were talking about earlier was, everybody's used to these large language models like ChatGPT and Claude. But what's going to happen is you're going to have very specialized models that are smaller and for a specific purpose. And that's the example of this.
Yes,
This
exactly.
is one that specifically looks for PI information.
Yes, exactly. So this one is I get the data, like the task definition or that kind of thing, and I run them with the PI data, and then it detects something because I purposely put some information there. Like, but there can be something simple like an execution user,
Yeah.
the server name or that kind of thing. You don't even want to send this to AI. So
IP address.
yes, exactly. Anything like, but there can be some passwords or that kind of thing. Also, it removes them. But also, if you want to do like a security, then in this case, you also have the option to use an offline model. So like OLAMA is one of them. Like OLAMA allows you to use an offline model, and to instead of going to an online model like an Gemini or OpenAI or the others, you can use the offline model if you are so sensitive about the data. So this is also an example for that one. So like this one is using an OLAMA with the Mistral model. And again, I did the same thing. I said that if there's sensitive information, give me that information. Before I send it to the Gemini, I said that if there's a sensitive information, return me. That's why I will not send it to AI. So this returned me success, as there's no sensible data because I already removed them here. Then now I can go. Let's do it together. Let's release that one. Now, by using another LLM tool like Gemini, I'm asking Gemini to,
Which is the Google LLM.
yes, Google LLM. I ask it, I said that give me the information about this one. I give you that kind of information, and from that one, give me some suggestions. I also give the formatting. I give the files that I want to use it. But also I did one more thing, like while you do the how to say suggestion, you can use just the LLM data, but also there can be something specific for the task. So for that purpose, I put the information, like because we have the notes here. So inside the notes, I put the information about how to do the troubleshoot. So LLM also knows additional information only for that task. So you can also use the note section for feeding the LLM for your use case.
Yeah, which is, I think, one of the important concepts that we're looking at within the USA product is being able to give what you call context information. And that context information can be used with AI prompts and helps it make decisions or helps it generate output that's relevant.
Yes. So the other one is...
So real quick, before you move on, I think what was really interesting about that workflow is he actually used 3 different LLM models, a very specific one for PII information, offline with OLAMA, and then an online model with Gemini from Google.
Yeah.
And part of what we want to show you is just that's where we see evolving, is where you can choose what models you want to use within a workflow.
Yes. And also you can use multiple at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe you can take us to the next example. I think this you're showing taking some action.
Yes, this one is doing like a decision taking. So this one, in this example, I did such thing. Like I have 3 tasks here. So, but my action is if 2 of them are successfully completed, or even 1 of them or 3 of them or multiple of them failed, but if the error is not that big, I want to continue. So that's the thing I'm doing here. So let's launch this. So in this case, I'm using LLM as part of the decision making. So we also have an example of like to continue if 2 of the tasks, 2 of the 3 tasks is completed. We can do such thing, but we can use LLM also for that one, because LLM also can do such thing. For example, if 2 tasks is even successfully completed, there can be some issues. For example, sometimes from SSIS we are getting like a low memory. If even the task is successfully completed, there can be some low memory issues. So in this case, LLM also can decide
if it's really a problem or if it's critical enough to stop or not.
Yes, yes. So here, for example, this task failed. This is a mainframe task failed. This is a SQL task, and this is an SSIS task. So I did such thing for LLM. I said that in the system prompt, I said that you're an assistant. You will make a decision if 2 of the 3 tasks is successfully completed. Then I also give them the next steps. Like I said, that continue if everything is good. Continue with alert if there's something, like if one of the tasks fail, or even they successfully, if there's some warnings, continue with alert. And the other one is a stop. So in this case, I give them the output of the mainframe task, which failed. The second task is SSIS task. I also give the output of the SQL task. So based on this one, it did a decision. If I go here, for example, I can show that. It's make a decision to continue with alert. In this case, it's also give me the reason why it says that mainframe task failed with a variable error, but the SQL task returned something. SSIS task completed successfully. So
it even gives you a description of why it chose to continue.
Yes. Then it takes the action to continue the next step, which is running the actions. But at the same time, it creates the ServiceNow incident because there was an alert.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And it's a very simple example, but you can also get very complex with these types of prompts and context. And that's how we see leveraging LLMs within your workflows, is really having to either take actions, make decisions. We don't, again, as I talked about earlier, it's hard to tell where this is going to go, but we're preparing so that we can incorporate more and more functionality within the LLM.
And it also makes easy, because if you want to do the same thing with without LLM or that kind of thing, you need to create all the logic there. With LLM, at least you just type it.
Yeah. So maybe you can now show us on the development side, kind of AI as a coding assistant and helping build automation.
Yes. So this one is a prototype. So we are working on it. So today I will do such thing. This is a real example, and we will do it right now. So we need to write an integration for JD Edwards with the REST interface. So we have an interface here. So we say that this is the integration we want to create. I just give one line information that this is the JD Edwards integration with the REST code. Then I give some additional information. This is about how I want to implement the code.
It's almost describing the functionality you want to build.
Yes, and the functionality, and also the way I like to implement it. Then, like for integrations, like we normally have like 4 different type of integration. So it can be like a CLI based, API based, or Python module based, or it can be related with the controller itself. So I select the API. This is a REST. Then I have some websites related for that integration. So I also put this one in here.
Which I think is really interesting, because right here, you're not, and I think this is a key thing to look at, is we're not going to go look at the API and have to code it ourselves. We're actually just referencing it and letting the AI coding assistant figure out what APIs to call.
Yes, exactly. Then, thanks to the research functionality of the LLM, so we give this information. So now the LLM can read this websites. It reads our description. It reads what we want to do, and it will give us some information. So here.
So it's taking all of this information, and this is kind of where we send it over to the LLM, and then it's kind of doing this magic underneath the hood, and going to come back and basically template out what the integration should look like.
It will give us some description. It will give us the fields we need.
Even down to the field level.
Yes. It will do the authentication fields. It will do, we have it here. So we have some basic description, what we are doing. It gives us the authentication fields that we need to fill to execute this task. So we said that we want to execute a report. So it said that to execute a report, you need to have these fields. And like you need to have like a report name, the version, or that kind of thing. So
basically everything that it looked at from the spec of the API, it came back and said what you needed.
Yes, exactly. And the output fields. And also it gave us like a basic Python script to execute that one. So the benefit for that one, if you're a developer, if you see some examples, then it will help you to write the integration. So this shows you some examples. And here I will say next. So in this case, we are forming the fields, what we want.
These are the fields that you typically would define within the controller as the extension fields that you'd have to enter.
Yes.
So it's already kind of put these here.
Yes. So it will,
For you.
at the end, it will create the integration for us. So I will do some basic ones. The first thing, we put an action here, then we put the credential, then we put the other fields. Let's say that we want to have the report name, the report version, and I will put this like a wait option here because I want it to wait. So if you put a wait, you need to put an interval, you need to put a timeout. I will not go to the rest. Let's go to the next step. So I select the fields.
Yeah.
Then it also give me the field information if I want to change them. Like if I want to change the
kind of types of fields.
yeah,
that
or the field name or the information, we can do that. So I will not.
And
do
it's
that.
already kind of done what it thinks they should be.
Yes. So, yes, because AI also give me based on the documentation that we provided.
Yeah, it
also
knows
collects
generally what
information.
type it is.
Yes. Then we have the final. It generates a YAML file about like a basic information of the integration we want to create.
But this is a UAC YAML spec file, right?
Yes, it's based on our integration. So I also put a validation here. So it also do some validation of the YAML file, because there can be some, based on your rules, you may have a different rule saying that even it's correct, you may have some rules to make it in your way. Like here, for example, says that if it's a credential, you need to use a variable, for example. Even for that one, I can use AI to fix that.
Go back and fix it.
Yeah. So I have rules. Based on the rules, it failed, and I use the AI to fix such thing. Then I have everything ready. So these fields are ready. The name of the integration, in description, everything is ready. So now I will tell AI to, not AI, this system, to generate the integration for me with the information I provided. So like this is like a half of the integration, because you need to create the integration, you need to have the interface and everything.
Right.
The rest is to write an integration. So now it's running.
But this is all ready to be uploaded into UAC as a defined extension.
Yes, this will give you the zip file
Mm-hmm.
that you can import it to the
Import into
project.
UAC.
Yes. So like here, it generated. So in this case, when it's completed, you have two files. One of them is a template file. So this is the older files that you use for writing the code.
Right.
And this one is just the integration. If I download the integration here, so if I go to the controller, like this one, for example, I can just import that one. Import it here. So it's imported. So without having the actual fields, you will have a JD Edwards task here with the fields.
And those are all the fields that
Yes.
you've been showing us as part of the workflow to create it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have the template here.
Yeah.
So now the missing part is writing the code for the integration.
Yeah. So just to summarize, we've gone from wanting to write an integration into JD Edwards, describing what we wanted, putting a reference to the API, and then basically having that whole wizard type of thing to help generate. And now we're in the controller for it there.
Yes.
Yeah. I think is part of the way we see using coding assistance to help you build integrations and build extensions within UAC. It's what I always like to refer as the new low-code approach, is that you don't need to be a super developer to have to understand all this. Using coding assistance can really speed up the process and probably require a lot less experience with building integrations. Thank you, Hussein. That was great.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. So that's a little bit of the AI features. We wanted to touch on all those different areas that we talked about earlier, just to let you see some of the things that we're thinking about. Again, when we have the UserVerse events in the spring, we're going to show you a lot more of this functionality. By then, it'll be released with our AI platform, and you'll be able to see it and use it yourselves. Thanks, Hussein, for all those demos. We just want to give you all an idea of all of the different capabilities we're leveraging with AI inside of our products. The UAC, our next release will be in April 2026, and this release is primarily focused on our AI platform. All of the features that we've talked about and demoed are planned to be available in this release. This includes AI chatbots, the ability to leverage coding assistance, embedding LLM logic into your automation workflows, and also the MCP architecture, allowing external AI clients to interact with UAC and UDMG. Also, we'll provide an integration between Stonebranch and Hanako as the technology between the two products, providing new capabilities for both customers. The upcoming roadmap for Universal Data Mover Gateway, we're adding AS2 protocol support, a new web transfer client for manual file use cases. We're also improving our Universal Secure Proxy with support for HTTPS protocol and support for cloud data storage as part of data transfer pipelines configuration. And finally, unified key management with integrations to secrets management tools. And much more than that, especially with features that each of you customers request. And with that, I'll pass it back over to Lauren to wrap us up.
Thank you, Peter, for sharing your insights on AI and technology trends. And that's a wrap for today's keynote, but we are only just getting started with Stonebranch UserVerse Online. We have 3 more sessions to cover in this series. We will be covering UAC use cases and things you might not know, the Stonebranch acquisition of Hanako and how we are building an SAP automation powerhouse, and a deep dive into what's new in UAC 7.9 release. A big thank you to all of our speakers for joining today, and an even bigger thank you to all of you for tuning in around the world here for our opening keynote. We will see you next time.